Welcome back. You're now tuned into the other side of sports. I'm your host, Laws, in the building. Got my man Aaron. We in the building rocking out. Got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Uh, Before we get into our question of the day, this is Memorial Day weekend. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was like, did you cook out? Did you end up getting the brisket started on
Yeah, I got scammed by the little halal butcher though. So I had to end up smoking like an 8-pound brisket.
No, what you mean you got swindled, dog?
Bama's paid for a 21-pound brisket. Got the tray home, opened it up. It was a cow sternum in that tray. So last minute
Dirty
too.
game.
Dirty game.
So what I mean, you had to cook it at that point. You couldn't
Hell
renege
no.
on it.
Dog, when I tell you it was a sternum, it was like bones from the chest. And fat, dog, the J was not a brisket.
Dog, I don't even know how you be knowing what body part of the animal it is, dog. Man would have they would have got me, dog.
Trust me, if you would have seen what was in it looked like a body. That's exactly what it looked like half a body was in that drink. It was nothing you could do with it.
Crazy, dog. Crazy.
So luckily, I had a smaller drink I had gotten earlier for emergency. Just ended up smoking that drink.
Oh man, I actually did get around to golfing. I didn't know if it was gonna happen, but I finally got around to golfing, play renditions. The joint out PGK, it's out your way, Aaron. The joint was all right. That joint was clean. Like basically, they got replica holes of like the PGA holes around the country, the main holes. They just replicate them, whatever. The joint was tough, dog. The course was well kept. I felt like they have like a snack bar in the middle of the course. So as you like play a few holes, you keep like circling back to the snack bar, which is a power move of mine because it was hot too. So you try and get a cold one, anything like food, you had access to it on the course. So that was nice. And I thought it was well kept. Like, you know what I'm saying? The greens was nice. So I mean, I've heard mixed reviews about it, but personally, I had a good time. Jump was clean to me. This Memorial Day weekend was kind of bittersweet for me because I lost a friend to suicide, dog. And it jumped crazy because like my man, whenever you lose somebody that you kind of close to, it's like I was at a loss, dog. Like I didn't know. Like I'm trying to figure, I'm going back down the Rolodex, like all the conversations we had. Like you're just trying to make sense of it all, right? You know what I'm saying? It just didn't make sense to me, like as of what I knew. But honestly, dog, you just don't know what people be struggling with for real. Like, and people be struggling with some real stuff. And it's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? I just hope that, for me, I kind of, I'm always looking for the silver lining and things, but I'm like, how can I be better with my friend group? You know what I'm saying? That's why I hit y'all on the group text chat, and I do it periodically, but just like tell people that I care about them. You know what I'm saying? Because you think people be dealing or navigating with stress the same way we do, or like everybody doesn't navigate stresses the same way. Like, and some stuff can be just deep. I don't know if you saw did you see the Rothaniel Jones on HBO?
Yeah, I watched that.
You watched
the funny. The nigga funny though.
Yeah, that Jones was real though, dog. Like it was parts of the Jones. I wasn't sure if the Bama was like if it was stand up or if he was just like on the therapy couch, dog, because he was just kind of just expressing himself, in this situation, and coming out as I mean, for those who haven't seen it, like he basically comes out that he's gay on the jump. What's the Bama's name? Gerard Carmichael, I think.
Apparently, it's Rothaniel. Yeah, but he's going by.
Yeah. But I thought,
Carmichael.
yeah, I thought the jump was very heartfelt, dog. Like very heartfelt. And like, you just never know like how people be. You wouldn't have known he was kind of navigating that deep-seated emotions with the whole jump, with how he like been just climbing the ranks as far as star status and his profession and stuff like that. It's just people be going through it, dog. So, if you do know somebody, I mean, and that's the thing, you might not even know. The jump kind of blindsided me personally, because the dude, like my man, shout out to Landry Saha, dog. I'm gonna miss you, bro. But dog, this band was hilarious, dog. This band had a heart attack, right? Heart attack symptoms one time and was going to the hospital. He said his chest, dog. He said his heart was beating out his chest, dog. He said he was in so much pain. He said there was an old Batman in front of him screaming like, ah. He said, he said, and the doctor looked out and was like, who's next? And then he said he was having a heart attack himself. He said the old Batman to his right was screaming so loud. He's like, go ahead, man. Just go ahead. Like he told him about just go ahead. I'm like, dog, you dying, dog. He's like, dog, the bad was old. Where he was screaming, dog. I was like, whatever he going through, it got to be worse than me. But I was like, dog, you was having a heart attack, though. He's like, I know, yeah, but you know what I'm saying, my man, I just want to help my man out, dog. And that's just the kind of person he was. Like, he was just always thinking about others in front of himself. You know what I'm saying? And so, it's definitely gonna be missed. Bam was hilarious, though. But if you got friends in your friends group, and it's good to like tap in, though. Like, I mean, really tap in. I mean, we sometimes you're not gonna get beneath the surface, but for now on, dog, to death do me in. Like when I ask somebody like how people are doing, I'm gonna follow it up with like, are you really doing, like, to really ask, because I think sometimes we just get the casual, yeah, I'm good, everything's straight. If I ask you though, Aaron, I know you jive good because this bad. You don't bought some new cameras or something. I'm like, no, this man would just.
Yeah. I don't really get sad. I be getting mad, but I don't be in this stress. Like, and the thing with it is, like, I know you saying like you gotta check, you want to check on your friends more, but a lot of times, and I get the human aspect of it where we put it on ourselves, like what could we have done? But most of the time, it's nothing you could have done. Most of the time, if it's something you didn't know, it's because people didn't want you to know, or whatever they were going with. They might have been embarrassed, or so I see a lot of times. This definitely was a popular meme, especially with women, where they like, you don't check on your friends, or unless, you know what I mean? It's just people be going through life. You never know what's going on. You can ask people how you doing all the time, but who's really gonna say, you know what? This man asked me how I'm doing. I'm about to give him the rundown, and then Pevin started rolling their eyes like, I was just saying hi. I was trying to be nice. Like, I didn't want you to, you know what I
mean? That's the crazy part, though. They're like,
so it's almost like a formality when people ask you how you doing and stuff like that, and people that's going through stuff don't really want to share because they don't really know how to deal with it themselves.
Yeah, nah, that's a fact.
So it's not something people can really put on themselves and say, what could I have done? You know what I mean? It's just tough. It's tough. It's life.
It's definitely tough. No, it's tough. We got a question of the day. We're gonna hop into it real quick. This youngin, I can. Is my 29-year-old boyfriend gaslighting me, or am I crazy? That's the title. We about to see it. I've been with my boyfriend for 8 years, minus a little immaturity in the first year of our relationship. He's always been an amazing and supportive partner. However, because his immaturity damaged some trust early on, he's always felt like there's an underlying sense of distrust from me. Early last year, he got really into cryptocurrency. He's began sleeping with his phone in his hand and disabled the screen timeout so it's always on. Being awake all hours of the night and just basically living, breathing crypto and watching the charts as he was working from home last year. This was 24/7 thing for 6 to 9 months. It was really hard to adjust to it, and I'm very communicative about my feelings in a relationship, so he has been aware of this for quite some time, but also around the same time, his sleep habits changed drastically. At first, I thought it was because of the crypto, but then I became aware of certain things that have been happening ever since. I do not usually wake up in the middle of the night unless I'm thirsty or need to relieve myself, but for some reason was waking up he was waking up routinely between 2 and 5 a.m. At first, I thought nothing of it. Perhaps it was just being fidgety while looking at the charts. Oh, okay. She's saying she began to wake up around 2 to 5 a.m. But then I noticed little things bit by bit. Every time I would actually wake up and move around, he would move from one position to another as soon as I started moving, or going from no blanket on the top of his half of his body to full blanket. It was like clockwork every time. And if he wasn't laying on his side away from me, that's the position he moved into when prompted about it. He always shrugged it off as coincidence or that I woke him up and was just adjusting to me. But then I realized his ever present glowing screen was never usually in a place next to his head. It could, it could, I could see the glow. It was promptly turned off and stored under the pillow. Sometimes it's hard to tell if his phone is on because he'd have it covered with the blanket. Okay, all right, I'm gonna stop you right here because this. First of all, you wrote 3 novels. That's the first sign of crazy. That's the first sign. When you're just doing the extra, like you just it's too much. You got it. If you're doing work emails like this, you're not getting no work done. It's too much. It's too much. Got to get to the crux. You took me around the bend. We going straight to the 7-Eleven right across the street. You done took me down the block over here. Basically, he been up at night on his phone. You can't see what's going on when you make moves and stuff. He start fidgeting and the bad mo. He looking at IG models, dog. We just gonna keep it all the way 100. Ain't that right, Aaron?
That's not where my brain was going. I thought he was texting somebody or I mean, if you a straight man, I don't think well
He on IG.
a
He's
wife rule with
scrolling.
an iron fist. But generally speaking, like if you was looking at youngers on Instagram, you wouldn't be mad if your wife saw that. Or yes.
It depends, dog. Everybody's situation different.
Not every day, like constantly scrolling, but if you just saw you scrolling and there
No, if
happened to be
you
a
up
bad
at
youngin
two,
on the
if you
phone,
up in 2 to 5 a.m. and you scrolling bad jumps, that's a problem, dog.
but
It's gonna be an argument in my household, dog. If I'm just up at two in
that's
the
different.
morning, dog, that
Yeah,
means
that's different.
I'm
So,
forfeiting sleep to just look at models on IG. What is we?
but is that a real thing? Like, do you really think this Bama just scrolling, or is he got something else going on behind the scenes at 2 in the morning? Unless he watching
So this is the
flicks
thing.
on his phone.
I don't know, dog. The Batman in bed every night, so I don't know, dog.
Yeah, it's not enough
Maybe
evidence.
that's a question that she need to ask. Like, what's your intimacy level like? Because
If it's
I
a steep
mean,
decline, he outside.
it just I don't know, dog. You gotta if you're communicating and he's shrugging it off, like clearly he's not. He's hiding something, and you're insecure. So those things together is just it's a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe for disaster. You gotta get to a place where you're being honest about the things that men care about. So if he not, excuse me, if he not getting no action, that's gonna be a problem. Uh,
Is he
I
like
just need
playing
to talk.
sleep, or is the Bama just up at 2 a.m.? That's what, like, because
That's another
couples
thing
don't
too.
necessarily go to sleep at the same time. Sometimes the Bama
Yeah,
feel obligated to go to bed because his wife going to bed, but he in the bed scrolling his phone. It might be a little bit of IG. He might be looking through email. He might be on the Facebook, a group. You never know what Bama's is looking at the
yeah,
phone. It might seem suspect because of the time, but some people just they
yeah.
don't fall asleep
I,
when they touch the bed.
yeah. Or if the Bama you say he heavy in the crypto and his money on the line, it don't sound like that life can get dicey, young. You remember when I used to gamble heavy, dog? I know what it is to go to sleep with the phone. You wake up, spot time, checking the score, see what Bama's did. Who did you get the W? Did you cash out? Like that joke can get a little stressful. It can definitely mess up your sleep pattern. So depending on what kind of money he got in the market, it could get dicey.
Yeah, it's too many variables. She got to come with more evidence than the Bama just be up on his phone. Because the phone is equivalent to like a computer. It's like your data source to the world now. So it's not just when a Bama pick up his phone, it's a youngin on the other end. It's so everything's kind of connected to that.
Yeah.
Bama could be, you know what I mean? It's just so many things connected to it, especially with like them volatile markets and stuff going on around the world, not just in your time zone. It's, you know what I mean? It's just, it could be so many different things.
Yeah, y'all got to have a conversation and really just talk it out and just really get to the get down. I mean,
and now that you mentioned it, if she was letting him hit like he's supposed to, he'd be asleep. Well, like Bama's gonna be up 2 in the morning after they hit something, they're going right out. So that answered the question right there.
Yeah,
get no cheeks, man. Need some sleeping medicine. Go grab some melatonin. I'll get it cracking, but stop complaining.
No. Game 7, Jimmy Butler versus the Boston Celtics. I don't know how the Boston Celtics collapsed in the last like 2.5, 3 minutes of the game. But the Miami Heat got it to within 2. And Jimmy Butler did this. Comes down, pulls up, off the front rim, miss. Now, he shot a 3 that could have took the lead of the game. And it was just off. Was that a good shot by Jimmy Butler or no?
It's a great shot, but his percentages would lead people to be like, he should have drove the basketball and tied the game up. Mm-hmm. Like to get in the NBA, as a person who gets as many shots as he gets, to get a 3 with a chance to take the lead and win the game in that much space, I'm pulling up every time. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's a good NBA shot. But when you look at the percentages and see that he shoots like 20-something% from 3, that would be like Giannis, you know what I mean, pulling up for 3. Like, would you feel the same? So just because his form doesn't look as bad as Giannis, the percentages and the numbers are what they are.
The thing is, though, when you look at the shot and you ponder all the factors, right? Because I think shots like this, you go back down a whole gamut of all the things. They had been losing the entire game. And so part of it was like, this will be redemption for real. Like, this will give us the lead, which they did not have the entire game. They didn't have the lead at any point during the game. So you got to think like they did all this to get back into it. Like that tie, like to tie or to try to tie it, or it just seems like, I don't know. It seems, I'll say this. Seemed like a loser's mentality, dog. Like winners, like, dog, what we need to win. Let's get the lead. So Jimmy Butler is their best player. Some would argue that.
No one would argue that. There's nobody else in the world. Nobody else in the world would say that dumb shit.
Nobody. Yeah, you're right. Nobody else will argue that. But he's their best player. He comes down. It's in transition. It's open. Right? It's not like it was a contested 3. It was an open transitional 3. He's an NBA player. Like, is 3-point shooting the best part of his game? No, not by any stretch. But like, I've seen him hit 3s before and clutch moments.
That series where he hit like 4 3s in a game. So I mean, I'm not as caught up on the shot as some people are, because you know everybody wants to be a revisionist and say what they would do or what the analytics guys say you should have done. I don't have a problem with the shot. There was no way I feel like Miami could have competed with Golden State at that level with one player having to do everything on offense. It seemed like nobody on a day-to-day basis, like almost nobody else showed up at that point. Everybody was kind of hurt. I get the injuries, but it was just so inconsistent on who else would show up. Bam showed up that game, but for most of the series, it's like Bam didn't show up.
He was non-existent.
Tyler Hero was on the sideline looking like he was trying to pose for Gap or something like that, dog, and got Rolexes on and Old Navy fleece or whatever the case is Bama had on. But it's like who else was going to show up and provide some help on the offensive end? It
Yeah, I
just
don't
seemed
know.
like they just didn't. I don't know how they were in. Like Boston has clearly way more talent than Miami does.
They
The
do.
fact that it was a series and went to 7 is almost mind-boggling to me.
Yeah. Well, part of that was the eggs that the Boston Celtics were laying. Like they did not, for as good as they are as a team, their wins were not dominant in my opinion. Like that game right there, they could have, there was a legitimate way they could have really truly lost that game though. And so I mean, that type of stuff, you cannot take the Golden State. That's not going.
I think they have more talent than Golden State too. But I just think I don't know. I don't know what it is about. It's just like something's missing. Like 'cause Tatum is nice. Don't get me wrong. And like way back when LeBron and them was in the league, I said like his second year, I was like, when LeBron is retired, he's gonna be the best player in the league. Like you could just see he has that much talent, size, and ability. Like if you saw when he was hugging like Horford, who's supposed to be like 6'9", 6'10", he like the same height as this battle at the 3. You know what I mean? He could dribble, he could shoot the rock, he could score, get to the cup, dunk, athleticism, all of it. But it's just like there's something. It's like he's trying to play the role of a killer, and I don't know if he actually is one of those.
Well,
you know what I mean?
He had the Mamba wristband on the 24 to try to summon the
it's like
the Mamba mentality.
It's exactly like that. Like you see somebody who idolized somebody, and like they know how to do the mannerisms, they know what to say, but when it boils down to it, like you can even see when he gives some turn ups. So that too. When he turned the ball over, his body language, he doesn't hustle all. It just seems like he's not there yet. I don't know if you can transition to go from what he is to like a killer. I don't know if that joint is just in some Bamas and it just pause.
I think Brown has more killer in him than Tatum does.
But Tatum has the talent and size that is unmatched that you can't, like Bama's like that don't grow on trees. But Jaylen Brown definitely, you could tell, has that different mentality where I feel like if you put his brain in Tatum's body, then you'd have the best player in the NBA.
Tatum is still good though.
He's nice.
There was plays where he and to me, this is just a side note because we were talking about Paolo Banchero and like some of the that killer mentality, right?
Yeah.
I feel like he's in this Jason Tatum space where like he has all of the abilities, right? And like he's trying to like summon the killer. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like a part of who he is. Like if we talk about Jimmy Butler,
killer.
Jimmy Butler's a killer.
No talent.
No question.
No natural skill and talent, but he has 100% killer. And Tatum is like the opposite, I feel like, of him, where it's like he has all the skill and talent in the world, but I don't think he's mentally just one of those guys who show up and want to kill everything in the room. Like he's just not that person.
Side note, you know I love conspiracy theories.
Oh, here we go.
I got a good one. There's a conspiracy theory that Jimmy Butler is one of Jordan's sons.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping.
What?
Yes, there's this conspiracy that Jordan slept with a youngin, and the youngin wouldn't abort the baby, and so he paid her off to like basically like because it was gonna mess up his marriage and stuff like that.
He already messed up his marriage on his own.
No. But this is the early days before you know he really went buck wild. And so basically, because Jimmy Butler's like mom abandoned him or whatever, but apparently the payment stopped coming. And then
what part of the deep wave did you get this from? Stop.
Dog, I can't do this here. Dog, I seen it, Joe. I said, dog, I'm like, the thing is, they put the timelines together and everything, and he's like, yeah, I'm like, oh, come on, dog.
So he was born on a year where Jordan was an adult, means Jordan is a candidate? I don't see
it. Look at the face, dog. They put them side by side. Should have did the side by side, Joe, like they do on Maury. Dog, they saying that Bama might be one of his estranged sons, dog.
And we know, but Jordan don't know.
No, well, this is the thing. I mean, if you don't do a DNA test to find out, how you gonna know?
How we know that if they ain't do a DNA test? This Bama's just talking on the internet. You about to get our credibility snatched.
Hey, listen.
Like that Jimmy Butler argument about Tyler Hero being a better player than Jimmy Butler.
No, stop. Hey, listen. That's why we got fans, dog. I don't gotta be the researcher. I don't gotta do it. Look into it. Come back with some credible information. I'm just saying it's a conspiracy theory that's out there. I ain't say I believe it, dog.
I'm curious about how you found this conspiracy.
It's conspiracy theory. Batmans can block bullets, dog. I mean, I don't mean I believe it.
This kind of stuff don't come across my timeline. That's all I'm trying to say.
Hey,
what parts of the deep web you be on to find this kind of stuff?
Hey, dog, who gonna win this series?
I think Boston.
So I'm hearing a lot of, and this is when you have a great matchup. You have a great matchup when you hear it like 50-50. Like there's a lot of people who are siding with Boston to win this series, but I hear a lot of like people saying, Golden State, just the level of experience that they have in the finals. I think Steph, Clay, it's like over 120 something game. Yeah, and the coach, like just in finals experience, and the Boston Celtics have none. I think Emu, the coach, probably has the most like postseason experience, being a part of San Antonio's championship team. Like it just, I mean,
normally, yes, I would agree with you, but we're in the finals. We're not talking about the first or second round.
Okay.
They went through KD and them with the Nets. They went through Milwaukee
them.
And Giannis.
They got the brooms
for them.
Miami
and Spoelstra. So I think they've had enough experience in these playoffs alone to where there's no secret playbook.
That also take a lot out of you too, though. All right, like they go up against them juggernauts and they went to 7-game series back to back, 7-game series.
No, that's fair, but that's a different point. That's fair, but that's a different point.
Okay.
Now they could be worn out. They shouldn't have gone to 7 with Miami as depleted as Miami was, and they probably, could use some rest. But we'll see game 1.
Yeah, I'm tending to lean towards Golden State. Like my heart says the Boston Celtics, right? But my head saying, dog, Golden State just got too much. The way that they play and how they play in comparison to how other teams play. So they just play a Miami Heat team. Basically, they had one Bama was just pick and roll, and when Bam.
How is that different from Dallas? Like I think Golden State had an easier road than the Celtics did.
No. I do think that Golden State had an easier road than the Celtics, much easier. But what I'm saying is, I'm saying in the style of play, I'm saying what Golden State brings to the table is vastly different than what they just saw in the Miami Heat, and at a higher level. Because I don't think, Golden State swept the Dallas Mavericks. Well, they didn't sweep them, but they got one game. But
let's also keep in mind Dallas is terrible defensively. And the Celtics are number 1 defensively. Like they're not going to be able to get off with all of that foolishness that they was able to get off against Luka in there. I think it'll be a good series. Like I'm not saying it's going to be dominant. A good series. I'm not saying, Like usually when we see, especially with it's football, I know usually like, oh, these Bama's going to win. It's like 70%. This joint, I'm like 52%. Celtics. Like I could see Golden State could win.
Okay,
and I wouldn't be like it's egregious. Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, agree. Honestly, it could go either way.
The best player on the court will be Tatum. So I'm always going to lean with the best player over, generally speaking, over like team or coaching or style.
So this is the thing. I think in this game, right? And you looking at the matchup, right? So Marcus Smart has to slow down Steph Curry. If that doesn't happen, fail.
He'll play him better than almost anybody else in the playoffs has so far.
Agreed. And Klay Thompson has to slow down Jason Tatum. If I think that those are the key matches. If Klay Thompson can stop Jason Tatum, I don't think
he's going to play him. I think they're going to save his offense because they need that. I think they're going to put Wiggins or Wiggins been doing good. Wiggins been doing good defensively. He has. But I think Tatum's different. Well, I'll say this: Wiggins has what is needed. He's more
to slow
athletic
down
than Klay at this
he's
point.
He's more athletic. He's about the same height as Tatum. It's gonna be a lovely matchup. Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see. Even from a coaching standpoint, I think both coaches are. Aaron, I'm about to go jump out there,
It's
dog.
gonna be
This
a good
might be the
series,
best
dog.
finals that we seen in a long time, dog.
Maybe since the LeBron Warriors drink, where everybody expected the Warriors to
Yeah,
win and LeBron came back. But
yeah,
usually, yeah, it seems like one team is severely overmatched. I think this is a good matchup. I think it's way better than with the Miami. Even though I was rooting for
yeah.
Miami, I think it's a better series
This
than
yeah,
what
it's
it would
better
have been
series.
with Miami.
Facts.
And
Much
the
better
league knew
series.
that.
Yeah, they did. Stern's orders. Lakers, dog, hired Darvin Ham. Didn't he play with the Wizards a year?
Oh yeah,
Dog, this Bama Darvin Ham scammed the whole league, dog. This Bama came out of college dunking on everybody. He came
because
to
he
the
broke the
league.
backboard that got him in the league in college.
Got him in the
One
league,
dunk.
dog. One dunk got him in.
He was
Darvin
trash in the
Ham
league,
ain't
though.
busting grape.
He was trash in the league.
Bama ain't busting grape in the league, Ern. But now here he is, dog, coach of the most coveted team in basketball, the Los Angeles Lakers.
That's a LeBron
Will
move,
he
though.
be able to turn it around, dog? GMs around the league saying it's the right move. They saying he's been given more autonomy than Vogel had to like choose his own staff and stuff like that. Is
That
LeBron
was a
helping him
terrible
get
hire to
choose?
begin with. Even though they won in the bubble chip, it was a bad hire. But they were being stubborn and trying to bring in their own guy versus taking the guy LeBron wanted them to bring in. And so this is what happens when I mean, they got a chip out of it, but this is what happens when you know what I mean, like when WME kick it. So I think they'll be better by default because they're going to end up moving on from Russell Westbrook. You'd hope
Well,
that
well,
Anthony
not
Davis.
this year. Apparently, they gonna hold on to Russell Westbrook this year.
I don't know if I believe that. We'll see though when the season starts. But also, you would hope Anthony Davis would play more games this year than he did last year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's no evidence to say he would do that, but
do you
I think if he's
like,
healthy, go ahead.
If you Darvin Ham, right, what do you want to happen?
Trade Westbrook. That's the first thing you want to get done.
How are you doing that, dog?
Calling every team in the league.
To get rid of a bad contract, you got to take on a bad contract.
I mean, they don't mind a bad contract. It's just the production they need to fit around LeBron and AD. Like they're gonna be in the luxury tax. That's a given. They're gonna take on a lot of money to make this move happen. And they might have to give up draft pick or from a. I know y'all like to say Westbrook a superstar, but from a star versus role player standpoint, they're probably gonna lose the trade. But whoever they get can't be a worse fit than Westbrook was.
Can't be a worse.
It's a terrible fit. It was just a terrible fit.
Yeah,
They're too old. Go ahead.
Let's say the team stays as is. How can Darvin Ham, will he have success this year, or he just got a punt on this year, whatever happens, and then wait for the following year to like try to make corrections and changes to the roster?
LeBron ain't a baby. You don't just have these years to just punt and just assume he's going to
He
be
not
back
gonna let
at
you.
that level.
He not gonna let you.
Yeah, and his expectation is to win, even though he makes some terrible GM moves, including the Westbrook one, that sometimes bites him in the ass, and he has to try to find a way out of it during the season or the trade deadline. And you want Bradley Beal gone so bad, I got a feeling they're going to come crawling up that tree before the season's over. But they got to try to win this year. I don't think they'll miss the playoffs if they stay relatively healthy. If AD's healthy, if LeBron's healthy, if Westbrook is healthy, I think they'll make the playoffs. They can beat the Phoenix with a Chris Paul. They can probably beat a Dallas. I don't know if they'll beat the super elite teams necessarily and win a championship.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that take. Yeah, it's just dog. So you saw Antonio Golden, AGG. They switching him to tight end, the Commanders.
The Commonwealth Commanders. I'll get him out of here. Why is it so hard for him to draft a tight end or sign a tight end? Why are they always trying to convert other players?
They drafted a tight end this year.
They drafted one last year too.
Yeah. Will he produce at that status? I mean, I know they doing this because Logan Thomas probably not going to be healthy at the start of the season. I
mean, I don't think he's big enough to block as a tight end. So when he's in the game, the defenses are pretty much going to approach it like he's another receiver on the field. a receiver that wasn't a great receiver. He doesn't have a great deal of speed. He has size, so it's not going to be somebody they're going to be struggling, you know what I mean, to match up with. It's not like you got what's the boy from Kansas City?
Tyreek Hill?
No, the white boy.
Oh.
That'd be killing.
Oh, Kelsey.
Yeah, it's not like you have a Kelsey or something like that, that kind of a matchup advantage. So I just don't really understand, other than trying to find a place to put him at a position of weakness, because they drafted him, was it like 4th round, like 2 years ago? So, I mean, I guess they're trying to figure it out, but we'll see.
We will see, though. We still got to go through the schedule.
You had him at what, 11-6? Or 12-4? What you had him at?
11.
Or 12-5?
11 wins. 11 wins. But I'm rethinking it, dog, because the defense.
The order of the schedule matters.
Dog, they didn't do nothing to the defense. You need Chase Young to come out week 1 off the knee surgery, Joe, and fry.
He's just don't know. Week 1. There's no way. It's no way.
Yeah, I don't know, dog.
They didn't make any changes, not even from a philosophy standpoint. So I don't understand what we expect to get better, other than you're hoping all your players get better, like it's Madden in the offseason and they simulate and your players' points go up like 3 or 4 overall points. Like you don't tend to see that kind of development from this team, from this organization.
We gonna get 11 wins, Aaron. We got to.
What you mean we? Oh, y'all. The Commonwealth Commanders from Woodbridge, Virginia.
Hey, they trying to move out there. They gonna get the spot. Virginia came out talking about like, I don't know if we want that. Like, we don't know who the Commanders are. Like, they try to treat them Bama's like they Beltway league.
I hope, dog, it's time for Washington to get an expansion team. Let Dan and take them Bama's down to Virginia, go ahead and move further and further down. They got the practice facility in Ashburn. They about to have the Bama's playing in Dale City or Woodbridge, wherever they are down in Prince William County. And Bezos, go ahead and get that expansion team and move into DC. DC needs a stadium there. Like, it's a travesty.
Team, I would love an expansion team, dog.
Start fresh without all the racism.
That would be the power move, dog.
Stadium in DC.
You gotta, but if you Bezos, you gotta talk V8 into accepting. Dan, like, yeah, let them go down there. Like, come on, man, open the door. Man, I'll help them out. Like, whatever. You gotta play nice so that you can. But back door, you funneling the expansion team on the low. That's our show, man. Follow us at OSS 980 at Other Side of Sports. Shout out to Where's Buffy. Shout out to Lance J Radio. Shout out to Sports Talk Tasha, Jenna Garcia, everybody who rock with us heavy. We'll have more content for you this week. We'll probably do the schedule sometime later this week. And we out.